that 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 receiver. The receiver is going to cost you more money on average than that running back that you can just get rid of and replace. You want to keep a good receiver around. You'd rather have a fifth-year option receiver, in my opinion, than a running back. Anyway, but then going back to my point right now, again, I want to say, you look at what this game was. It was a bad matchup. We talked about it on Thursday. It's all kinds of stuff from just the matchup between the teams and whatever the pundits said. If you really go back and whatever kind of fan you are, if you're just honest with yourself and you go back and just think about on paper with all the injuries how this matched up, it was very even. You just came out on the wrong side of it today. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Period.
I mean, they probably could have had a different game. It could have been a different outcome, but it wasn't. And again, just like the Orioles game, the biggest factor was the free turnovers. You just can't do it. You never won in a game, and you start hitting that free mark, and you're in trouble. Plain and simple. And look, I mean, you get the Packers out for a field a couple of times like that, and they sliced the best field in the room. Game over.
So, Greg, I go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan. Okay, and okay, Greg. I want to ask you this question then too, because again, we like to take the opportunity when we don't have non-Packer fans out, just to get your outside perspective. What's your overall perspective of seeing the Packers now on the field versus your team, just overall, and then kind of I understand that you work for Nuts and Bolts. You guys do a great job of covering the NFL every week, no matter who your favorite team is. I listen to you guys every week. I listen to Monty. We interact. You know that all the time. So I respect your overall opinion. Just as that, seeing tonight's game against your team and then the first 5 weeks, what's your perspective for the Packer fans, for somebody outside of their fan base, on this team so far?
That's the single biggest thing that's going to keep the Packers from going into the conversation for an NFC title.
I'm gonna tell you what, I can't. I don't know about the guys, but I can't love you anymore right now because that's exactly what we've been ranting about this entire time. Is that the consistency over 4 quarters is the biggest thing that though we've seen so many fixes amongst all the things across the board, mostly on the offense so far that we talk about. But the one thing we constantly rant and rave and bitch and complain and plead and beg for is 4 quarter consistency. So for you to say that that's the biggest thing you see outside, it just makes me so happy. Thank you, Greg. And I know the guys. I know the other guys appreciate that too. It looked and felt very stagnant. And one more thing before we get you out of here, Greg, so we can finish up the show ourselves here. I just want to know if because this is an opinion that I learned and I've been spreading, but I just want to I'm trying to verify with more people to make sure that we're correct in spreading this. Would you agree that the new era of football, the defensive elite points per game has moved from 17 to 24 points, as we're told by a lot of these bigger wig people? Is that something you share in that opinion too?
doesn't matter how good you are defensively. You can have a game with 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and still give up 24 out of 31 points.
Okay, well, just an modern era, right? I'm just again, it's just we like to teach hows and whys, and I know you're part of that on nuts and bolts, and that's what Monty does too. So that's just some of the reason why I ask these questions, just as a part of kind of our building blocks to what we're building here. So thank you very much for that, Greg.
No worries. Well, Greg, we appreciate you coming on tonight. Obviously, not the easiest thing to do after a loss to go on the opposing team's live broadcast. I think but your team has a lot. Much respect to you for doing that and your intelligent insight. And we should be up on you on Twitter. What's your on Twitter handle so everyone knows? Well, yeah, that's a great cut voice. So everybody, get some good insight from a good guy. Follow Greg Cowboys on Twitter, and much respect to you coming on here and talking with us for a little bit. We appreciate that.
And just before you get out of here, just so we know that you're covering all your bases, why don't you plug everything you work for? Because we know you do a lot out there, including working with Monty at the Nuts and Bolts Sports Network. So why don't you just quick throw out all those tags and follow so everybody knows exactly what you're doing.
Well, it's Cowboys Corner on Nuts and Bolts, and I get a preview and a recap. Recap not being very pretty this week. What can you do? I'm going to wait till tomorrow to write that because the game I wrote tonight that we can shoot in any extras. Okay. So, I'm going to watch it again. I'll put myself through it and with my analysis of starting to it. Well, take a look and follow him and read that stuff. And again, we appreciate Greg for coming on tonight. We'll let you get going. You can go and do whatever you got to do to move on, get past this loss for you and Cowboys Nation, and we'll let you know as your team the rest of the way. If we play again, I hope it's timing out.
I bet you would, Greg. Dang, we want to play down there. We like it down there. It's warmer. It's a cold environment. Thanks again, Greg. We appreciate you, man, and thanks a lot. You too, bud. No, Greg is awesome, man. He's good stuff. Feeling good, man. How are you feeling now, Ryan? How many drinks have you had? Have you got anything you want to say? I mean, you've been kind of quiet. We kind of took over the show, so you've had a chance to drink a few, get a little loose, think about some things. So before we get going, let's get into the mind of Molstead, because not only does that rhyme, but you've had some time, which still rhymes. I'm on a roll here, man. Go for it, Ryan. Wait a second.